Hello, I'm Ajit Kumar Jha of Power Pixar channel. We are trying to understand the campaign for the 2024 Lok Sabha election. In the run up to the 2024 Lok Sabha election, the BJP has come up with a very powerful agenda. And the agenda is the Ram Mandir. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right after New Year, went himself to Ayodhya, and there was a great celebration. Mithila painters from Darbhanga, Madhubani came all the way in special trains, and they tried to build what we call a cultural and a spiritual picture of the Ram Mandir. The narrative is being built. Of course, the Ram Mandir is an old agenda of the BJP. In fact, the BJP's rise, many scholars see in the 1990s because of the Ram Mandir agitation, which has a long history. But today we will focus more on why is Ram considered such a great symbol in the entire country across the length and the breadth. Ram himself is considered Maryada Purush. He is much more than a religious symbol. He's a cultural symbol that unites the entire country. He's a spiritual symbol. He stands for big, great values, important human values. And what are those? Ram, if you look at the entire life of Ram, it was basically built on personal sacrifice. Imagine, he was supposed to be the ruler, but he went away for 14 years to the forest. Inside the forest, see his relationship with the flora and the fauna, the animals. I mean, think of the Banar Sena that he used during that historic struggle with Ravan. Then his relationship with goddess Sita, a relationship of equality. They together went to the forest, and the way he rescued her, that is a symbol of a great love. And in fact, the Madhubani, Darbhanga, where I actually come from, the Mithila painters, they paint Ram and Sita inside the Kobar Ghar, which is supposed to be where the bride and the bridegroom rests right after their wedding. So it has enormous cultural connect. It has enormous spiritual significance. Ram stands for other values like obedience to parents, for example. He completely agreed even to his stepmother's commands of Kekai when he actually let his younger brother Bharat take care of the kingdom while he was away. He stands for hope. He stands for humanity. He stands for equality. He stands for all values that Indians cherish across religions. In fact, several top Urdu poets have written wonderful poems on Lord Ram because he's a universal. He's universal to the entire world. So, what the BJP has done is created a euphoria around the Ram Mandir. On January 22nd, there's going to be the consecration of the temple formally, although the temple is still not complete. It will take a while, but the entire symbol is going to be consecrated. And how has the BJP done it? How has it made it a campaign? In every panchayat of the country, across the length and breadth of the country, you have the Kalash Yatra. You have the Akshat Yatra, and all these kalashas are going to come to Ayodhya by January 22nd. So it touches every panchayat of the country, and that way the BJP is also going to use it for political benefit. How? Because the same cultural connect that connects the Ram Mandir to every panchayat of the country will turn into also the Panna Pramukhs during the voting. So it's the massive cadres of the Sangh which is going around working on this Ram Mandir project. Let's take a look for a moment at what the India alliance or the India bloc is doing in terms of the Ram Mandir. Most of the India bloc leaders seem completely foxed. There are 28 members. They speak in different languages. Just about 2 or 3 days ago in Madhubani, for example, Tejashwi Yadav, the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, he took a very bold position on the Ram Mandir, and he said that Ram is in our hearts. Like he pointed out, I have grown with Chhat festival. I have seen my mother and sisters and others perform Chhat festival. So he said Hinduism is in our hearts, but the BJP's spending of lakhs and crores on the Ram Mandir right now is basically a waste of money. They should have focused on jobs, on health, on education. So he has taken a completely different stand. He has taken the Prime Minister head on. But let's look at some of the other leaders. For example, one of the leaders from Maharashtra, he used the phrase that the Ram Mandir is basically mental slavery. Now that seems like what one would call an insult to millions of Hindus who cherish Lord Ram as not only a god, as I said, but someone who held values for the entire country. Remember, Mahatma Gandhi during the national movement talked of Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya for Mahatma Gandhi was the utopia. What are some of the other leaders of the BJP doing? They are confused. CPIM, Sitaram Yechury, he said that he will not go to Ayodhya on January 22nd. Sonia Gandhi has been invited. We have still to figure out whether she'll go or not. But there's dithering on by some other leaders. Some of them don't know how to respond to it, so they have kept quiet because they realize the cultural significance of the entire Ram Mandir. While they are responding to the BJP's agenda of the Ram Mandir, what are they doing in terms of action? They are sitting and right now, most of the India bloc leaders, and they are doing seat sharing. And this seat sharing is very important, of course, for the India alliance. Why? Because it converts a multiple party competition in the country into what we call a two-horse race. The NDA led by the BJP versus Congress-led India bloc. So in that sense, it is very important. But the amount of time taken in seat sharing, the image that is coming out to the public, are they just negotiating and bargaining about seats? Well, according to me, if you think arithmetically, I don't understand why it is taking them so long. Let's look at 2019. In 2019, the India bloc parties were basically number one in 144 seats. It's very easy. Give it back to those parties who won those 144 seats. Number two, they were number two in 328 seats. So obviously, if you're not number one, if you were number two, you are the bidder for that particular seat. Of course, there are one or two little riders in that. The riders are that, for example, in Punjab or Kerala, let's say, in Kerala, the number one and the number two within the India alliance, both of them are in the India alliance. The LDF versus UDF. Okay, so that's minus 20 seats. In Punjab, for example, it's AAP versus Congress. So again, the same problem. But those states particularly, I can understand some kind of bargaining and negotiation. But on the whole, it's a very simple formula according to me. So instead of just talking about bargaining of seats, if they come up with an alternative agenda, an alternative narrative, and if they have clarity about the Ayodhya agenda of the BJP, I think it would help the India alliance much more. Finally, of course, from January 14th, Rahul Gandhi is coming up with the second part of Bharat Jodo Yatra, and he has brought the issue of Nyay. He's talking about Nyay this time. And Nyay in this case sounds to me very much like the Nyay with regard to the caste survey. But we will have an entire episode on that once Rahul Gandhi begins his Bharat Jodo Yatra 2.0. But at this moment, if you ask most people, what does the BJP stand for? They will immediately answer Ayodhya, Ram Mandir, Article 370, Uniform Civil Code, and the various Labhyarthi programs of the Modi government. If you turn towards India Alliance, India Bloc, and ask them what do they stand for, caste survey, we are not very clear how they are planning to sell it. Will it be the old 1990 Mandal formula, or it is going to be different, because many of the constituents don't agree with the 1990s Mandal versus Kamandal. And secondly, what else do they stand for? Secularism. But how and why? They have to sell it to the ordinary people. So the language of Nyay and the language of secularism is in principles very high. But how do you sell it to the ordinary voter? Maybe they should come down to economic issues of unemployment, of inflation, of economic crisis that is going to hit the world in the end of this year, 2024, 2025. Maybe that might be a more concrete issue, but they have to get their act together. They have to come very clear on what is their position on the central issue of 2024, Ayodhya and Ram Mandir. Thank you very much.